Hey everyone, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I am Bueller. This is another creator interview because I do a lot of these, and I got my good friend Marvin here with me, and I've known Marvin for a while. Marvin, how you doing, buddy?
Doing really good. It's a really exciting day here in Comicsburg.
There you go, man. You know what? We've known each other for a while. We've met in person, I think, maybe a couple times, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Yep.
And we've met at a big con. We met also at a really small con,
Right.
and stuff. So, but every time I get the chance to say hello to you, it's always a pleasure. So welcome on the show. This is a long time coming, but we're here to talk about your newest Kickstarter. And I'm just going to refer to you and let everyone know what's available right now. Like I just said before we came on, you got about 27 days left. So it just started for your creation, The Edge. And let us know what this Kickstarter has going and kind of fill us in on The Edge. I'm familiar with it because you sent it to me, the first one in the past, when it was by a different publisher, by the way. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But go ahead, man. Tell us what you got.
Yeah. So just to kick off on what The Edge is. The Edge is a book about a drug, of course, called The Edge, that can grant people special abilities, but then it either kills them or drives them insane. So it's that those consequences
So
of power.
it's a lose-lose is what you're saying.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah. There's no winning in this. There's no winning.
Yeah.
The more you use the powers, the closer you are to one stream or the other. And some of the characters are aware that they've been dosed with this drug, others are not. So they're just using these powers, and they have no idea that it's kind of draining all their energy out of their body. So the Kickstarter is for the volume 2 of the trade, which is going to cover issues 5 through 9, which is our Reign of Chaos storyline. So issues 5 through 9 introduce a new character, Chaos. And the name of his team is the Reign, so that's why it's the Reign of Chaos. It's not just he's reigning over. It's him and his team. Chaos is pretty much that guy in the mold of like a Magneto type character that sees what's coming for superpowered people, and he wants to try to kind of start something now before the regular humans get a chance to do what they're going to do. We also will have the Volume 1 trade available in the Kickstarter. So the Volume 1 trade covered issues 1 through 4, introducing us to I just call him the Strike Team, and the villain, Revenant. Revenant's ability is if he bleeds, he duplicates. So if you're familiar with Multiple Man from the X-Men, he's similar to that. The difference is that his brain is split between all of his duplicates. So when they die, he feels everything, and it's kind of driving him insane because these powers are just corrupting him very badly, and he doesn't care. And like you're saying is that, okay, the duplicate is duplicated. It has its own brain, but also shares a brain with him. So it dies, he feels it, and it's just driving him loonier than he already is. We also have slat books in the Kickstarter. We have what's called Wham Blams, which is a removable plate. It's magnetic, so it snaps on.
Nice.
So when you get your books, you can slap them on here, and then when you do your videos on YouTube, you can show the whams.
There you go.
Also there's T-shirts, single issues, and this. So in the world of The Edge, one of the characters, Marcus Drake, is creating his own version that he's going to commercially sell. So each one of these bottles has a number of these capsules in it. The capsules are crackable, so you can open those up and you may have a prize inside.
But don't eat them.
No, most definitely do not. This is not candy.
These are not edible pills.
Not
just
candy,
so everyone knows.
They are plastic capsules. I will take no responsibility. If you take them, you're not going to get powers from them, but you might get sick.
I might need to put a warning down on the bottom of the video just so everyone knows, do not consume or swallow pills or whatnot. So
yeah, I have a slight warning on here that says that this may cause you discomfort and death. So
yeah, well, there you go. You've been fully warned. Yeah. Now you are the creator of this team that you brought together and stuff, and you're the writer, man. You got kind of I'll just say it, man. Your mind kind of works in a different way in order to kind of bring this to life. I mean, this is not what normal people think about.
No,
you realize that, right?
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. I think that a lot of us, as we're creating these things, have to think outside the bounds of things because you've got comics around for what 80 70 years, and some of the stuff has been touched on before in certain ways. So when I talk about my book versus like a book like X-Men or Wildcats, which influenced a lot, like 90s books or serious influence on us,
Yeah.
so that G.I. Joe and things like that, they use these powers like it's a second nature. I'm shooting eye beams, it doesn't bother me. In our world, a character that shoots eye beams blinds themselves
So
because
there's
it's something.
consequences there.
Yes, it's something you can't control it. It's something that's just energy escaping from your body. There's no way for anyone to say, I'm just going to shoot eye beams all day long without it hurting them. And in some cases, the powers
Yeah.
don't work like you think they're going to work. They turn off at times. You think you're doing something else. And with our one character, he can create barriers like Invisible Woman, but there's no oxygen inside of that barrier. He's breathing out, right? So he's creating carbon dioxide. So eventually he can't keep it up forever, and there's no insulation. So if he's in a hot room, it's going to be hotter inside of that barrier because there's nothing insulating him from the energy that's coming off of fire.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of questions, to be honest, and I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to having you on here that we're talking. But let me just focus on the Kickstarter campaign really quick. For everyone who's watching this video, the link is down below. When this video comes out, I think there'll be about 26 days left to join the Kickstarter. There's many different tiers and different options and awards, and also an award on there because I know some shops watch this video. There's retailer tiers as well, to where you can get multiple like packs of the issues and stuff like that, like 5 copies of issue 1 and stuff like that. So if you're a retailer, that's available for you as well, so you can have that on your shelf in your shops. And I just saw you do a video with one of my buddies who's a retailer in Utah, in Salt Lake City. For Black Cat Comics. How do you know him?
I met Greg. So back in 2020 when the shops were closed, I went on a tear of collecting every comic shop I could in the country, and either emailing and calling each shop. So I ended up calling about 600 stores, and hey, you guys looking for any new material? Because there was nothing new coming from Diamond. So it's like, you guys looking for anything new? We got all this. You got these books. We're not in Diamond, so we can like direct. And I linked up with him and then with Eric, the Rogue Trader, at the same time. So I mean, it's kind of like that time in 2020, even though it was a horrible time, like it put Comicsburg on the map almost. That we came out of nowhere, and in that time where everything was going on, we were able to like sneak in a few spots, and I ended up creating a list of like 400 stores that I'm constantly communicating with comics and things for Comicsburg.
So how come you didn't do what I do and just drive to the store? I mean, you're sitting there just calling and email. I mean, that doesn't take nothing. Why don't you get out your vehicle and start driving around the country like I do?
So I mean, we do that with local stores, and then things that are like in our journal, like in Ohio or New York or West Virginia. We do those store runs, but I would have loved to been able to go across country and run into shops and say, hey, I've got books, who wants them? But I mean, it's cost prohibitive to do that, and some of the shops don't like you running into their shop and saying, hey, buy my stuff. So.
It's the cost is definitely a thing. I mean, I'm running on fumes right now as far as like it's like I'm hoping I can make it to the next town or whatever. But let's talk about the Edge itself a little bit and kind of the history and stuff like that. You introduced this to me years and years ago.
Yes.
Well, I think we met in. Did we meet in? Was it Florida the first time?
No, the first time was West Virginia. At
West Virginia. But we knew each other before that. That's correct.
Yeah.
And you would watch the comics and coffee show that I did with Bob. And you sent us a bunch of your books and stuff, and we even had the action figure of one of the characters, and that was on there. And that was on the set of the comics. It was in the background pretty much almost the whole time it was sitting there. So that's pretty cool. But originally, this book was with a different publisher from years ago, and so this isn't somewhat a new property. It's just a new. It's just kind of a like you said. You brought up the new publisher that you kind of doing some work for. You want to talk about the new publisher that's is now working with the Edge?
Right. So that's it is my brand, my publishing, my company is Comicsburg.
There you go.
So Comicsburg came about as a group here from Pittsburgh where we did conventions and things together to offset the cost of the table, the traveling, the driving, the food, and things like that. Because it's the old Legend of Zelda thing where you walk into the cave and the guy gives you a sword. Says it's dangerous out there. Here, take this.
Yeah.
It's dangerous out there for someone to do these shows by themselves. It's really expensive to not even just traveling to the show, but the table cost, the Airbnbs, the hotels, and things. And it's easier when it's 3-4 people doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So we formed the collective then, and was it last year or the year before? We hooked up. We got with Diamond, and it was me and one of my partners, Grant Lankard, his book Beowulf, and
Mm-hmm.
we kicked it off. And then our friend DP Brown, Dog Pond Brown, bought his Timothy books along. Our other partner that does the Heronberg book, that's the book with the all-female superheroes here in Pittsburgh. It's also a live-action TV series. It's not part of the Diamond crew, but he still does all the store callings in the group. So, I mean, it's exciting, and it's a lot better for me to do it just to do everything myself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of starts since like even before the previous publisher, we were with another publisher before that. So, and it starts to get a little confusing after a while, not only for people who are buying the book, but for myself because start stop, and it makes it harder to get to where I want to go. So now that I'm doing it myself, I can release books when I feel like. I can release
Mm-hmm.
books at Diamond when I feel like. I can take whatever I want to a convention. I can do Kickstarters whenever I feel like. And there's no one kind of saying, oh, we have to have a specific release schedule, or hey,
Yeah.
you can't put that in your book, or other things. Like no rules in comics where we do whatever we want.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this property was on a different publisher a while back, and I wish every publisher the best, and I hope they succeed. But let's be honest, being a publisher is not the easiest thing, and sometimes things don't go your way, and dates don't happen, and maybe the people in charge aren't quite up to par as far as making things happen. And it just isn't for everybody. It just doesn't work out. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So the best thing to do, like you said, take control. Do it yourself. I can do this myself, and that's kind of what you did with the publisher now that you've started and everything. So this new publisher that you started, are you guys looking to expand? Like, hey, come on board, or is this just with you and your partners and stuff at this moment?
Oh well, we've done it, and I mean it's something. When I originally started it, my whole entire thing is that I don't want to manage anybody's stuff, and now I'm managing other people's stuff, and it's challenging, but it's rewarding. Like, so we've got Pages books, Blowtorch,
Yeah.
and Daisy Chain. We've got other titles on the outside coming in. There's a book called Trillion that we're trying to bring into the entire fold. We've got a imprint, Incubator Productions, that is going to start bringing us titles. And we are expanding into education. So we're going to be doing what we call Script the Store, is a panel that we do at shows that explains the whole entire process of going from a script to a store with a comic book. So all the business stuff, all the creation stuff, all the hurdles you're going to run into, all the things that are going to trip you up as you go. And we're going to take that to library systems and into school systems. So we want to try to not only teach what we're doing, but show people that that you can still do this. Because my concern is that if we don't kind of revitalize the pool of creators and bring in new creators, that this thing is going to disappear.
Yeah.
Because the youngsters aren't in the comics like we were in our time. And it's because it's not in their face. You used to be able to go into grocery stores and things like that and see comics. Doesn't exist anymore. So now you have to go to where they are and bring them the comics.
Yeah, it's a destination place now. You have to go seek it out to find it. But like you said before, it wasn't. It was right in front of you wherever you went. Convenience store, grocery store, all that stuff. Let's kind of jump back to the Edge itself and a little bit more information on there. And before we do, I just want to say I wish you nothing but success with your publisher. and the company that you started, I'm excited to see where it goes. And I know having like Blowtorch on there and Daisy on there as well, from Paige, you got, my relationship with him, with that was one of my first exclusives, doing one for the Blowtorch and stuff.
Yes.
So with all the different characters in the Edge, which one is mainly based on you?
So I would probably say my personality resides in my Trinity. So that's the big three. So that's Mystic, Blaine, and Interim. I would say that I've kind of split up between them. But then when I write Revenant, the villain, I kind of take my personality and do the opposite of what I would do, and then I write him. So I was explaining it the other day. I said that if I was walking down the street, you see someone holding a plate like this with cookies on it, I'm not going to knock the plate out of their hand. Revenant would. He would knock it out their hand, step on the cookie, and tell them have a nice day. I kind of write that character in reverse, and it's one of the fun things about his characters. I can do that because I'm able to get into his head more, and then allow him to tell me what's going on with his story. But yeah, those four characters are probably my personality, and my personality reverse would be those four.
Revenant is a really cool name for a villain. Just it sounds like a villain's name. It's just really good. Besides the characters that are kind of based on you, do you have a favorite character in your lineup?
I would say Mystic is probably my favorite. He's the team lead. He's the character with the swords, and he's become my favorite.
The figure that you said, right?
Yes. He's become my favorite because I'm able to drive him in different directions, and we're coming up on a point where we're going to have to explain the swords and explain him. So he wears kind of like medieval armor as part of his costume, and as we move forward into the story, we're going to change his costume because he has kind of an awakening where he starts to realize that he's not really in control of what's going on. We do a thing where there were other owners of those swords in the past, and their influence hasn't left the swords. So it's kind of like we present it as kind of like the Panther realm in Black Panther. You saw it in the movie where he speaks to his ancestors, and they've kind of been talking to him and influencing him, and he hasn't known this, but now he's starting to realize it, and he's going to try to find his way to that realm and tell him to shut the hell up and stop telling him what to do. Yeah.
So the art on your book, is it the same artist through both volumes, or are you working with different people? And let me in on who the artist is.
Yeah. So and I only say his name one time because it's hard to pronounce. Mark Louis Vincukiat.
Okay.
And from this point forward, it's Mark V. He's from the Philippines, and it's funny because I was actually going when I was setting up the Kickstarter, I was going through like my art folder, and I realized that we've been working together since 2007.
Yeah.
And I thought it was later than that. I thought we had started working in 2010-ish, but no, we've been working together since 2007. He's been the only artist on, like, we've done some covers with other artists, but he's been the only interior artist on the book. And I trust him more than I trust myself sometimes with where the camera's being placed, the character costumes and things like that. And there isn't probably another artist that can capture the characters the way that Mark does.
Nice. And does he do the coloring as well? Or is that someone else?
So we have, and in the coloring realm, we have a few colorists. Our primary colorist is Luis Antonio Delgado. He generally works with IDW. He does Ninja Turtles. Then we have a collection of other artists, colorists that I pull in every once in a while when Luis can't work because he's busy doing Ninja Turtles.
So we got 2 volumes in this Kickstarter, volume 1, volume 2. How new is the volume 2 as far as volume? Like I said, this book came out a long time ago. The first issue, a long time ago, many years ago. Yeah. Volume 2, is this a brand new? How? I don't know if I'm wording this right, but like, if you were to give it a street date when it came out, when would that have been?
So issue 5 we did release a while back also, but not with the previous publisher. It was the publisher before that. But I would say, yeah. So it's like I said, it's been a bunch of ups and downs. But I would say I put a date on completion of that. Like I said, that we've been working on this book a long time.
Mm-hmm.
2015 maybe is
Yeah.
when we originally did issue 5. But like as we gone forward, we've made some changes. We've added some pages. We've done new lettering, new coloring. But the next street date would have been, I guess, the Diamond release date, which would have been last year.
So, and you said this earlier and just brought up, these are in Diamond. So anyone who's going to their comic shop, you can say, hey, I want to add this to my pull list, and their comic shop can go on Diamond and find them. They're there, and along with the other publications from the publisher as well. I'm taking it, correct?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So all our books are, except for the Herrenberg book, is the only one that is not through Diamond, and that's Comicsburg. But issue 7 is in previews right now, as is the second print of Daisy Chain.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that Diamond is one road you can take to get these books. There's probably another road you can take. Do you guys have a website you can go to directly? You want to talk about that if that's the case?
Sure. So you can get the books on my website, theedgecomic.com and comicsburg.com. Other places is conventions, of course. We don't just send books to comic shops either. So we try to, like I said before, go to where the people are. So coffee shops, pizza shops, anywhere that the people are at, we want to have comics in that space.
Church.
Yes, you're in church. If they want comics, let me know. Let me know.
The Bible's not the only book you can pick up.
Right. I'll walk into a church and put a rack up if they let me.
There you go. So back to the Kickstarter yet again, like we said earlier, I'll put the link down below. You guys can check that out. We got about 25 days left from when this video comes out. It looks like you have a goal of $4,000, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, as of what I looked, you're just a little bit over 1,000. I'm pretty confident you're going to get there. I mean, it just started just a couple days ago. People know the title a little bit. Like I said, it does have some history. I'm trying to think I want to make sure we cover all our bases on this thing because I really want people to know about it. You mentioned conventions that you go to. Do you have any conventions on your list as far as where you're going to next?
Our next show is in November. That's Akron Comic Con. Okay. We are seriously pushing to get to MegaCon next year. I mean, I've been trying to get to that show for the past 3 years, and I never make the list, but hopefully next year. Man.
Yeah, for some reason. I mean, I work with Black Box Comics. They haven't been able to get a booth there from the beginning, and they're a publisher that's been around for six, 7 years now. Right.
It's really like it's one of those things where unless you know someone who knows someone, it's really hard to get on that list of and no one ever leaves the list. So it's like there's rollover from the year before and the year before that and the year before that, and no one ever gets a spot. So they get first dibs unless somebody gets a spot. It's really gonna be hard for someone else to get in there.
Yeah, it's like a 2-year waiting list or something like that. So it's just kind of crazy. So Akron is the one you got in November. That's the next one.
Yes. Yeah. So we are doing like a local show at Bell's Comics and Cards in Grove City, PA. That's just they're doing their anniversary and they invited us up to attend.
So you also have a YouTube channel. You like to go on there and talk about stuff, right?
Yeah. So our next live show will be Saturday, 8:31 at 1 p.m. I just in the middle of the day, I just pop on and go like, I'm live. Let's do this.
Nice. And what's the name of the channel?
It's just Marvin Wynn, just the Marvin Wynn.
Just your name. You didn't want to think of anything else. My name's good enough.
No, I mean it's one of those things. I'm really bad at titling things, which is why none of the issues
like something like the Edge of Comics. Come on, man! I just came up with that off the top of my head, dude.
I was lucky to come up with a good name for my Substack. Like it's the Edge of Comicsburg, but I mean, maybe I'll just call it that too. I'll call everything will be the Edge of Comicsburg or something.
Or you can go the other way. You can go Comics on the Edge.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Come on, man. These are all golden. They're free. You can have them, man. They're all yours.
Comicsburg on the Edge. There you go.
There you go. That's perfect, dude. That's perfect. Okay, let's kind of wrap it up, but I'm going to give it to you one more time for the Edge, and I want to give, and this is something I asked our buddy Jonathan a few times. What is your elevator pitch on the Edge?
Right.
If anyone
So
doesn't know what that means, it means like if you're riding in the elevator with someone and they want to tell you about something they got from floor 10 to 1 to do it. And that's what you got right now. So go.
right. So I mean, this is what I always say at conventions that gets people to come up to the table. So The Edges is a book about a drug that can grant you special abilities, but can cost you your life or your sanity. That pulls people right over, like, drugs, crazy. What's this about?
So drugs is your key. I mean,
Yeah,
you even
right.
got the bottles on the table.
Right? Yeah. Hold on. I had the bottles, and then I had those ink pens that looked like syringes before too.
Yeah, I have one of those, dude. So it's like, and the comic. No wonder you're not getting in MegaCon, man. This is not the booth that we want. We'll stick to the Comics on Coffee booth or the Coffee and Comics guys instead, you know. But for the record, like we said before, the syringes, the bottles of pills, those are just for fun. It's not a real syringe, it's a pen. The bottle of pills, they got secret prizes in them possibly and stuff like that. Yeah. Nothing's supposed to be stuck in you or nothing's supposed to go down your throat. That's the way the Edge works. But Marvin, this has been a lot of fun. I want to say thank you for coming on. I want to say one last time, check out the Kickstarter right now. The link is down below for the Edge. Lots of different options. Like I said, there's retailer options, there's awards, there's t-shirts, a whole bunch of stuff. Pill bottles, you name it. You got little stands for your books as well. There's all sorts of stuff on this Kickstarter. Please check it out. Marvin, there it is right there. That's really cool. I need to get one of those, but I got nowhere to put it. It just falls on everything falls on the bus. Everything falls. So, Marvin, before we go, you want to say goodbye to everybody and just let them know how to get a hold of you again?
Right. So, as always, if you want to get a hold of me or anyone from the Comicsburg crew, it's comicsburg.com. We are always willing to talk comics or creation and willing to help anyone who is starting out or anyone who's a veteran. So hit us up.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to live your best life. You know what to do. We'll see you next time